Happy Friday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fans of college football, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by the mustache mania himself, Shane Dieffenbach, and the man with a plant. That is Erik Ruby. That is Erik with AK. We got DJ Danielle behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. Gents, how we doing on this lovely Friday?
Doing good. Wondering how Shane's birthday was. We didn't get to talk to Shane after his birthday night.
I know, Shane.
How
was your night out, man? Did you do anything special?
I went to dinner.
That's special.
No free ads. No free ads.
Yep.
No free ads. Can you at least tell us what you ate? Like, was it pasta? Did we get some pizza?
I had seafood risotto.
Ooh. You know, Eric's been telling me for a while now that he's been meaning to have both of us over and make that for us, but still, nothing.
I make a mean seafood risotto. It's my signature dish.
He looks like a guy who can make scallops like perfectly.
Exactly.
Yeah, big scallop guy.
Yeah, soon enough, right? You're gonna have us over for that?
Yeah, probably in the next 3 to 4 years. I'd say I'll be ready.
Okay.
So sometime within that time frame.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that on my calendar and make sure that we have
Sounds
it
good.
over. But
actually, I think I'm busy that day.
Oh, yeah, of course. Look, one thing that everybody has on their calendar is the release of EA Sports College Football 25 coming out July 19th, unless you're a college football sicko and you've decided to get that game 3 days early. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely juiced that we are about a little over 2 weeks away till that game drops. We've got, obviously, team ratings for the best 25 teams in the game. We've got some of the top offenses, some of the top defenses. And to everyone's surprise, Arizona State, nowhere in the top 25 of those teams. I know you guys were just as shocked as I was, but this team has talent across the board. We talk about it every single day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes we get spicy on the weekends and talk about it too. But today I want to focus in on the Arizona State offense. We're going to reveal our top 3 players, or at least some of the top level talent on this Arizona State roster, what we think that their ratings will be, not necessarily what they should be. Boys, is there an early favorite for who we think should be the highest rated player on this team?
I think I've been pretty consistent in saying that I think it'll be Leaf. He's the one with the longest tenure, like, of starting spots and the longest tenured, like, good starts, quality starts, for lack of a better term. So I would be pretty shocked if it wasn't him, if I'm being honest. Scat's like a fun one, but like Leaf does everything right. Scat does a lot of things fun and well.
Yeah, he does a lot of things fun.
Scat kind of seems like the typical, like, gets a little juiced up in video games, though, you know, like with Leaf and an offensive lineman, like, yeah, if you're just putting it like on paper, sure, he should probably be the highest. But I feel like with Scat and some of his big plays from last year, I wouldn't be shocked if he's the highest rated. I think they'll be close, but I think Scat's got a legitimate conversation for it.
He's definitely somebody that I think at the end of the season we could see be that highest rated player.
Yeah, I think that he has. I think a lot of people have a lot of room to grow, and all you need is really one breakout player. It could even be like a Jordyn Tyson if he just comes in after missing a season and just absolutely torches. But Leaf at the very start is probably the safest and most likely the correct pick. But I think that sometimes, like, guys and gals who like develop video games, they'll like kind of skip over the dirty work side of it, and I could definitely see Leaf being the type of guy that, because ASU is going to get lost in the shuffle, him kind of unfairly being lost in the shuffle as well.
Yeah, I would say maybe if he hadn't had success at a different school prior to this and had accolades to show for it, but since he does, I think it should be pretty obvious that he would be the number one player in that. Matthew from Twitter saying that, in my opinion, Trent Bourget could be in that conversation. There's another guy with long tenured success. At the quarterback position, you know, starting quarterbacks are often the highest rated. So
that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Look, we each have 3 players. We'll go over the ratings. We'll discuss them. Erik, let's go ahead and start with your very first player, man.
Let's do Jordyn Tyson, just because Tyson was somebody that we discussed could maybe jump from the very start. So this is what I have for Jordyn Tyson. Now, I think that he's still going to get a good amount of love even after missing some time. Overall, I have him as an 80, speed at an 84, hands and catching at an 81, and a strength at a 77. Now, this is what I think they'll rate Jordyn Tyson. I do think that in real life, the hands and the strength and the speed would be higher. But if I just had to go conservative, which I feel like you kind of have to go with ASU, I'm going to go with an 80. I'm sure some people who aren't familiar with Tyson or with ASU would probably go even lower, but I'm trying to balance out like the, how much leeway are they going to give him and everything like that, and everything in between.
Yeah, I love Jordyn Tyson here. I think he is overall, when we're talking about Sun Devils on the offensive side of the ball, I think he is definitely going to be a top 3 player, just based off of ratings. Again, we talk a lot about Leaf Fautanu is likely going to be the highest rated offensive player, maybe Scat. Jordyn Tyson with Elijah Badger gone, with Jaden Rashada gone. I think Jordyn Tyson fills that role in terms of a skill guy that could be a top 3 player. And Shane, I don't know about you, but I think Jordyn Tyson, he can have the type of season to where he starts off with an 80 rating, maybe a little lower even, and finds his way to the upper 80s, depending on who's playing quarterback. I think Shane's muted. I think we got Shane muted.
I cannot hear Shane.
There we go. Sorry. I think it's pretty clear and obvious that you have that it's Jordyn Tyson is your number 1 receiver if you follow ASU, if you've been to the practices. That being said, I don't think it's too crazy to say he's probably not going to be the highest rated receiver on this roster, just because of the injury concern that there's been no game footage of him since his freshman year at CU. You just don't.
Which he did tear up.
Yep, but you just don't know what you're getting. We do. That being said, I think that guys that were here last year, like X, both of them, you just really don't know. Troy O'Meary. I would assume that Troy's probably the highest rated receiver at this point. But who knows? Maybe there's some ball knowers.
Maybe there is. And I mean, if he turns in anywhere near the type of season that he had as a freshman at Colorado, then I think he is going to be one of the most dangerous players in this conference. And I will listen to arguments about it, but again, we've seen him at practice and what he has looked like. He has looked even better with Hines Ward kind of stepping in as his position coach, just in terms of some of the little things in terms of blocking, right? And again, we'll see how the ratings reflect that. But Shane, you bring up a good point. A lot of receivers that did play for Arizona State last season could have a higher rating. I know you have one guy that you've been pretty high on since he first transferred to Arizona State.
Yeah. Before we get to Troy, Glenn's asking, do we know for sure that we will get updated rankings as the season progresses? I am not sure. We don't know for sure yet. We don't know about I don't know if I saw anything in the game about that. I would assume so, but if there is, I know one thing for sure. Jordyn Tyson's blocking rating is going to have to get higher because people don't know yet. That guy loves blocking, especially with Hines Ward there. We've seen some nasty work by him. We can go ahead and pull up Troy O'Meary's. This is at least what I think it's going to be. I think he's going to be an 81. As I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he was the best receiver on this roster ratings-wise. Going into this year in the game, I got his hands at an 84, his speed at an 80, which I think is too low. Again, this is not what I think he's going to be. It's what I think he should be. It's what I think he's going to be. Realistically, he is probably mid to high 80 speed. He's 6'4", but he's a vertical threat, obviously. And then I was jumping at an 89. Spec catch somewhere up high as well. The dude high points of football. And again, if this was last year, he'd be getting the Jordyn Tyson treatment, I would say, because he is another guy who at Texas, it was always, man, if he can stay healthy and hit the field, he's going to be so good. And they just never were able to see that, unfortunately. We saw what it could be last year. And toward the end of the year, it got a little scary. I mean, that guy turned into a true, obviously he's always been a red zone threat, but a true threat all over the field. Year 2 for Troy could be something spooky. Yeah,
I think Troy, you look back to last season from start to finish, and I'm not sure there's anybody on the offensive side of the ball that developed and progressed and got better the way that he did, clearly game over game. I mean, you look to really the last stretch of 4 games, and Troy Omeire was one of the best players on Arizona State's offense. Part of that, I think, had to do with the fact that Xavier Guillory was out dealing with some injuries. Elijah Badger, I believe, ended up missing that Arizona game due to an injury as well. So the workload for him was there. And I think if you're talking about a player that, again, could really thrive in a new offense under Marcus Arroyo, I think Troy definitely fits that mold, because he's got a lot of something that you know, a guy like Jake Smith, Xavier Guillory, some of these other wideouts just simply don't have. And that's just the sheer size of being, you know, as big as he is. And I think he has gotten a lot faster. My biggest knock on him when he first transferred to Arizona State was he didn't have a second level, right? He was a guy that was just running and he didn't have another gear. I think we've started to see him really hone in on that and develop that. And I'm excited to see just to play with this guy in the game, because he is one of Arizona State's biggest receivers, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, one thing about him is if you know me, you know how much I hate the goal line fade. I think it's the worst play in football. It's the lowest percentage. Yeah. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's just 20%. Throw it up, blah, blah, blah. He's so good that I'm fine throwing a goal line fade to Troy Omeire. Like, that's how good he is in the red zone. He's 6'4". He can jump out the gym, jump off the field, jump out the stadium, jump out the buttes.
There it is.
He is a true threat when it comes to 10 yards and in. But as we've said, we'd love to see some progression. I think we're going to see him become a different player, because I would be shocked if he wasn't one of the 3 starters that gets trotted out in the first game of the year. Or another thing I want to mention, Jacob in the chat out, says they mentioned there will be something about it with the live progression in the EA blogs that they put out. So that's very good news.
Yeah, that'll be really, really nice. Eric, just in terms of this wide receiver room, I think, you know, we specifically have touched a lot on the depth of this room, despite the loss of Elijah Badger to the transfer portal. You look at guys like Melquan Stovall, Troy Omeire, Xavier Guillory, they were all here last year. Talk about some of the incoming transfers, but I know there's one kid that everybody that covers Arizona State closely has been pretty hyped about, but in terms of EA ratings, you're not going to see anything on Jake Smith.
Yeah, with Jake Smith, it's tough, because you're talking about a lot of, hey, like potential, what could be, and even back with the tape that you've actually seen after he had to sit out a year, the way that they used him was rather basic, and so I think that unfortunately for Jake Smith's rating in this game, it's going to be pretty low. I've got him over at a 73 overall, the 75 speed, 72 hands and catching, and then a 71 strength. Now, I think Jake Smith could be a candidate. I think everybody's a candidate to jump up a significant amount, but he might be the one that has the biggest leap, just because I don't see any sort of national respect for what Jake Smith could do. And I see a lot of people just looking at, he sat out a year. Oh, and then when he was used back at his old schools, he really wasn't used that much and in very unique and creative ways. So the tape doesn't really have anything massively pop out. And so I think he's going to be one of those players that does not get any benefit of the doubt, unfortunately. So I have a 73 overall, but I think we all know with the tools and the different abilities that he has, I wouldn't even be surprised if he could jump into mid-80s if everything goes really right for him this season.
If he's a 73, somebody's getting a really awful letter from me. I would be shocked if he's a 73, because he sat out, and the injury at USC, and all the weird stuff that went on. But like, you look at his first 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore at Texas, he had some production. I mean, when we pulled these numbers, he had 9 touchdowns in the 2 years he was at Texas, and he was a high recruit and a pretty high transfer prospect. I mean, he was a high 4-star, a 95 on 247, and as a transfer, he was an 85. So they better do their research. Yeah, this kid hasn't played in 2 years, but like they got to know what happens when this guy hits the field. I would be shocked if he's that low, but I understand your reasoning.
Well, right, and that's kind of my thing, is like, I would love to put the benefit of the doubt, you know, of the people who are making this game. Mm-hmm. Like, I really want to just think, oh yeah, they're gonna have all this context and everything that we know about these players, but until I see it, like until I see some more ratings and stuff, especially from the more nuanced players at some of the more nuanced schools, like, I'm going to lean on the side of caution and hopefully be pleasantly surprised than vice versa, because I mean, you could talk me into Jake Smith being in the 80s right now, but that's just not how the cookie's going to crumble with this game.
I'm going to guess he's a 78.
78. I could see 78. Anywhere in the 70s, really.
Yeah. Alien Aztec asking, who's the fastest of the group? We'll get there. I think everybody knows who the fastest of this group is.
Oh, easily.
We'll
absolutely.
In a bit.
Marcuston Douglas.
Yep, there it is. The baby rhino himself, looking to score 10 touchdowns this season, we said, Shane?
Yep. Hopefully.
I'm here for it. Look, we will obviously continue to get into our rankings throughout the show, and we don't know necessarily if we could trust what EA is going to do in terms of the Arizona State's offensive rankings, but I'll tell you who you can trust, and that is Desert Financial Credit Union, because as Eric says just about every single day, they've been doing this for about 85 years. They've been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And look, we can read that right every single day and tell you that they're making people's lives better and that you could trust them. But a firsthand experience, our only Erik Ruby has been using Desert Financial Credit Union since he first had coin to put in a bank. Is that right, Eric?
I have an update on this. I've spoken to my parents. My grandmother, when they moved here, was actually one of the first Desert Financial members.
Clients?
I'm not even kidding. It used to be Desert Schools, and it used to only be for educators. And my grandmother was a teacher, and so when she came here, she signed up, and the numbers associated to her account and then my dad's account start with very low numbers compared to where mine is. And so I was great. Wow, it's literally been in my family for generations.
Yeah. I mean, Desert Financial Credit Union, it's a family thing when it comes to the Ruby family. I'll tell you that right now, guys. And now is the time to show your ASU team spirit and open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started.
Is there a cat?
There is a cat. There is absolutely a cat just going crazy right now. So
whose cat is that?
You hear that? It's my roommate's. It's not. It's going crazy by the door. Peanut.
We'll tell Peanut to screw
off.
We're doing a show.
I'm going to deal with Peanut. You tell everybody about Four Peaks real quick.
Yeah, well, Four Peaks is something that I'm going to be drinking a lot of tonight. Oh, okay. 4 Peaks is something that
he just leaves.
I'm going to be drinking. Yeah. A lot of tonight and this weekend. Birthday celebrations continue through the weekend, of course. And there's only one beer to do that with, and that is our friends over at 4 Peaks. You saw me drinking a 4 Peaks on my actual birthday. Of course, it was that nice hazy IPA, my favorite beer. The only IPA I drink in the Valley, honestly. It is just so delicious. Plus, they got their Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, a collab between 4 Peaks and Bad Birdie. It's super drinkable and the perfect companion at the tea box or in your fridge. Visit 4peaks.com/locator to get all your favorite beers and events. Check out at 4 Peaks Brew or at 4 Peaks Pub. Tea with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery, but you must be 21 years or older to drink 4 Peaks, and please drink it responsibly. Oh, he just took me off the screen.
Wow, he said, "Get the heck out of here."
Whoa.
Oh, where are we going? Where are we going, guys? There we go. There we go.
We're just shuffling it around here, man. That's all we're doing. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
How's Peanut doing?
Great. I think Peanut needed to be fed, so Peanut has.
That's a great name for a cat, by the way.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Elite name for a cat.
I can't.
I love food names for cats and old man names for cats, like Alfred or Glenn. Glenn's in the chat. Sorry, Glenn, you're not an old man, but
Jebediah Beauregard by chance?
Not Jebediah. No, Jebediah.
No, not Jebediah.
Totri, why don't you go ahead and give what your first rating? Let's see what it's all about.
I mean, we might as well just keep it in the wide receiver room. Let's go ahead and do Xavier Guillory, one of my favorite players on this roster. When he first transferred to Arizona State, again, this is a kid that I don't think a lot of people knew about, but he is, I mean, for me, this is a guy coming back in year 2, trying to be what everybody thought he could be. So this is where I have Xavier Guillory rated at a 77 overall. I got his speed at an 80, his hands at an 80, and his route running at a 78. This is, I mean, you go out into the practice field and this kid has everything to be I think an NFL wide receiver. It didn't show up on the tape when it came to game day, really at all last season outside of that first game of the year against Southern Utah. But he's got the traits. I know he dealt with a lot of injury last season, coming back healthy, a new offense, a new quarterback potentially, if it's somebody other than Trenton Bourguet. And I think Xavier Guillory has the potential to be one of the best players on this Arizona State offense. But talk about somebody who I don't think is going to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the EA ratings based off of what you saw last season. Xavier Guillory is probably that guy.
Yeah, can you just think and take yourself back to that Southern Utah game last year after Rashada threw the deep ball and he caught it for a touchdown? Like, how much has changed since then? Bottle that energy up. This team is going 9-4. Jaden Rashada is going to be ASU's longtime quarterback. Xavier Guillory is the guy we thought he was going to be transferring from Idaho State. And things, haven't panned out for Guillory because of injury, but obviously a lot's changed from that moment. It's just hilarious to even think about. They almost lost that game. There was a haboob. There was a lot of stuff going on.
David Rodish in the chat. That was the last time I was happy. That was an absolute. I mean, that was a phenomenal performance from him. I believe he had 5 catches, 70+ yards, caught that touchdown. Throw in a phenomenal touchdown celebration in there. It was just the entirety of that first game for Xavier Guillory was awesome. And I really hope out of everybody on this roster, kind of outside of the EA discussion, if there's somebody that I want to see have a breakout season, it's that guy right there, because there's not a lot of people that I've met, not a lot of athletes that I've met that work as hard as Xavier Guillory does.
The hype train doesn't slow down from where we left off at the start of last year. I might be even more excited to watch this kid this year. He again, if you just watch his highlights before he got to ASU, it's ridiculous. Like, the kid is ridiculous. His body control, his he can hit a second gear, the ability to high point the football. Like, he's a prototypical X.
Yeah, he really is. He's got the makeup for it. And again, I know there's some people that had questions about his hands. There were a couple moments throughout the season where he had a few drops. But again, that is something that is fixed pretty easily, right? It's a mental thing when it comes to college wide receivers. And this is really a fresh start. I think it's a fresh start for that entire room, right? With Elijah Badger being gone, a new wide receiver coach, a new offensive coordinator, and likely a new starting quarterback. So it is going to be an exciting season, I think, for the entirety of that ASU wide receiver room. But we talk about it again just about every single day in terms of where Arizona State is at. And a lot of the national perception is likely going to have to do with the starting quarterback and who the starting quarterback is, whether it's Trenton Bourguet, whether that's Sims, or whether that's Sam Levitt. Shane, I believe you have.
Why'd you laugh?
I believe you. Well, I didn't laugh.
You chuckled before
I did
you
not
said
laugh.
Jeff Sims.
I did not laugh. Did I? Did I chuckle, Eric?
A little bit.
No, I think you just said it with some glee in your voice. I don't think there was any chuckling.
Oh, so it was excitement. He was elated to talk about him.
He was giddy.
I don't have Jeff Sims's ratings that I'm predicting, but I do have
99.
What a lot of people are expecting to be the name on the depth chart for QB1, and that's Sam Levitt. So we'll go ahead and look at what I have for Sam Levitt and his ratings. I got him at a 77, and these stats might be a little misleading, but their area, these are just what I think his top 3 stats are going to be. His accuracy, I have an 85, whether that's short, deep, long, whatever. He is his strength is he's going to pick you apart. He's very patient. And that's what ASU fans should be really excited for, because in the past, that's not where your strength has been at quarterback. There wasn't really much patience. So that's what this guy has. His throw power in 83. I'm not sure how much it's progressed since his freshman year and when he was being recruited, but he's a solid arm. And then the thing that he's really started to add is his legs. 82 speed, but that's not where it leaves off with just his legs. I think he's got really good vision and he's very smart. So I got a speed of an 82 and his other running attributes solid. I think where he's going to drop off a bit is the other intangible stats. Maybe an awareness here and there because he hasn't gotten a ton of snaps. Maybe that deep throw accuracy is pretty low because we haven't seen it. But yeah, Levitt is a guy I'm expecting to probably be the highest rated at the quarterback position, we just don't know how fall camp's going to go. And that's going to be a really telling sign.
Yeah, I think the first couple days, right? The first few days, we're going to see which of these quarterbacks really commands that offense, commands that room.
Yeah.
I mean, Levitt and Bourget, I think both did it throughout fall camp, but they have very different styles in terms of leading. I think Levitt is a really, really vocal, commanding quarterback, whereas Bourget, he's a field general. He's the guy that's going to go out there and he knows exactly what everybody's doing. He knows exactly where everybody should be, knows protections, knows everything about this offense. So it's going to be interesting to see the juxtaposition between those two guys when fall camp does start. But yeah.
One thing I want to mention again about Levitt is his build. Just looking at him, he looks like a Division I starting quarterback. Yeah. And we have to remember he has the same amount of eligibility as Jaden Rashada does. So, depending on what happens, I know one is at Georgia and the other transferred into Arizona State, but who knows what can happen. Yeah.
And I think if there's any attribute that is going to jump the highest, it's that throw power. His arm has been his deep ball at practice all spring was what everybody was talking about, just because he did have the best deep ball out of any of the quarterbacks there. So we will obviously
again, it's something that you didn't see much of for ASU in the last couple of years.
Oh, absolutely. Right. I mean, what Kenny's talked about it. You missed a lot of big plays last year. They just didn't have explosive plays. And you have a cannon of an arm on that quarterback. So we'll see. Maybe that's the thing that separates him from some of these other quarterbacks. But again, in terms of this Arizona State offense, we talk about players returning to this team, whether that be Leaf, whether that be Xavier Guillory or Troy. But I know every Sun Devil fan, when they load into this game, is excited to load in and play with Cam Skattebo. I know I am. Immediately, you got to move that guy to quarterback. Maybe make him your team's punter. We'll see. We'll see out there. But this is the rating I have for Cam Skattebo at that running back position. Got him at an 83 overall. His trucking at an 85. His stiff arm at an 83. And his strength also as an 83. Talking about a guy, Cam Skattebo, that I think will be definitely in the top 3 highest rated players on Arizona State's offense. I think it's pretty clear that his trucking and his stiff arm are going to be the highest probably attributes that he has in this game. But I'm interested to see what they do with his speed, simply because he is a completely different running back. He's added new elements to his game since he was last season. And I think everybody from a fan perspective is going to see that week 1. But what do you guys think about an 83 overall? Is that about right? A little low, maybe too high?
I feel like this was another player I was very torn with. I was putting out some ratings for Skattebo myself, and I had him at an 85. Just a little bit higher. Was hoping that maybe some of the people who are making EA college football just watch some of the tape from him last year and realize he can really do a little bit of everything. And maybe he doesn't have that next level speed that you're going to see from a type of running back like Raleek Brown, but he could still scoot, and he's lost a little bit of weight this summer and looking to get a little bit faster, a little bit less ground and pound. I think 83 is probably fair. That's probably where he ends up being, but he's a mid to high 80s back when it's all said and done for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at an 85 also, maybe an 86, just because they might not have seen him, but if there was somebody that you know about from Arizona State, it's this guy. Plus you can box score watch with him. I mean, the dude averaged 7 yards a carry at Sac State on just under 200 carries. That's ridiculous. And last year he averaged 4.8 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns, and almost 1,000 all-purpose yards, or more than 1,000 all-purpose yards when it comes to receiving, 24 catches for 286 yards. He's dangerous. We know what he can do in the open field, but you're totally right, Totri. I mean, if they do pay attention to ASU, and after that first game you see what Scat looks like, that speed rating is going to go up more than anybody's speed rating is, because the dude dropped 20-plus pounds. We talked to Kenny, and going back to the explosive thing, that's why they wanted him to do that. They came into this offseason with intention with their strength and conditioning programs. It wasn't just, this guy should put on 20 pounds because he's not a prototypical looking Division I tackle. This guy should lose a couple pounds because, we think his body fat percentage or whatever. It's no, Scat was amazing last year. But if there's one thing you could point out, this running game didn't have many explosive plays. And you want that next level speed, because we saw him beat a couple guys here and there and carry people on his back. But someone's going to catch him. And this year, I don't know how many people are going to be able to catch him.
Yeah. Again, as soon as that game comes out, I think Scat is going to be one of the more intriguing players to just play with, depending on how they actually rated him. We've talked a lot about the wide receivers, obviously a lot of skill guys in this conversation about some of the highest rated players for Arizona State. Again, somebody that didn't necessarily get a whole lot of run at his last school, but will certainly be in the mix for the most amount of touches this season for Arizona State's offense, and that's Raleek Brown. Probably going to have the highest speed of anybody on this team. Shane, I know you were the one that you put in his rating. So where do you have Raleek?
Yeah, this might shock some people. We'll go ahead and pull it up. I got him at an 81. Again, I know he wasn't like the most utilized guy last year, but you can just look up his biography and see why he ran like a 4.4 as a freshman in high school. I think like it's ridiculous. He's so fast. 94 speed. I have him at 95 acceleration, 90 juke. I think all of those are probably going to go up. I wouldn't be shocked if his speed was at a 99. I mean, the dude's 5'8" and can fly. He can burn. He's going to be one of the most fun people to use in this game in college football. Like, yeah, period.
He's got that level of
definitely
talent,
be like.
Right? Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just saying he's definitely going to be like one of those guys that in this game specifically, if somebody's playing against you as ASU and they're not like aware of Raleek Brown, you just have him kind of go off into the slot and you line people up on that side. You just throw it to him, just run it, just go down the field as fast as possible and see if you can juke somebody out or something. I think he might have a case for most fun player on this roster to play with in this game.
He's the type of player that
he's one of the few players that is projected to go into the NFL draft when he's eligible on this team.
Yeah. He is one of the guys that when you are playing Madden or NCAA 14 and you have a running back who may not be a starter, but you've got your quote unquote third down guy who is usually smaller. He's usually faster. And it's 3rd and 10, it's 3rd and 25, it's 3rd and 3. I'm calling a halfback screen with Raleek Brown in the game. And I feel confident, right? I feel confident that he's going to be able to make a big play. And he's the type of player that, again, when this game comes out, that ASU running back room between him and Scat, I think is going to be a lot of fun to utilize. But a big part of it, I think, depends on, again, the quarterback. We'll see what Marcus Arroyo can do. And then another big part of it is the offensive line, right? This Sun Devil team added some guys in the class of 2024. They added some transfers, but there has been one staple and one cornerstone of that offensive line, and we've already alluded to it. That is Leaf Fautanu. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago. I stand by the fact that I think this guy is one of, if not the best center in the entire Big 12. And another player that I think when you're talking about NFL draft this time next year, I think certainly could throw his name in the ringer. Probably not a 1st or 2nd round pick, but I could certainly see him being late round 3 or even day 3, any of those rounds. But this is where I have him rated heading into EA Sports College Football 25. I've got him at an 80. Let's see. I can't see. I think I got him at 84 overall. Yeah, 84 overall. 90 strength, 84 pass blocking, and 84 run blocking. I could see him also being the highest rated player point blank period on this team, higher than anybody on defense. Maybe an 87 overall as well. But I think, again, the strength of this kid is massive. The run blocking, pass blocking, he's got it all down. He's got great technique. And one thing that you can't really rate in this game, at least I don't think, is just leadership. And this guy has it. He is a cold-blooded leader for that offensive line. And I think it's pretty clear that he's going to be the highest rated offensive player on this team.
Yeah, you can kind of rate it with awareness. I think his awareness is going to be like a 97. I think that would be his highest.
It better be. I mean, it better be.
Yeah.
What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I think he certainly has the strongest, most complete, well-rounded case for highest rated player. Again, I think depending on how the people who make the game view it, they might go with a flashier position in a Cam Skattebo. But awareness should be really high. Obviously, strength should be really high. And hopefully, if going into the Big 12 and holding your own and ASU's offensive line as a whole around him stays healthy and it's just a lot stronger, hopefully that's going to bring more attention to Leaf, not just in the game, but also just like generally, whether it comes to Big 12 media or just college football in general. And everything you guys said has been correct. Like, he should be the highest rated player, if not the second highest rated. He could be an NFL player, and he's by far and away the heart and soul of why this offense will work if it does.
Yeah.
Who are you guys most excited to use in this game? Like, even outside of ASU?
Outside of ASU?
I'm gonna go Jalen Milroe. I think they're gonna make him so good and like so hard to tackle. I love him too. He's a beast.
And probably Jaden Rashada. I'm kidding.
I'm not kidding when I say Jalen Conyers. I'm absolutely excited to use him in this fucking game. I think that's going to be so damn fun.
I'm going to sit him. I'm going to put him
on the bench. You're going to sit him?
Yeah, I'm going to sit his ass.
Oh, man. All year, too? That's tough. That's tough, man.
I'd say probably Ollie Gordon would be a really fun one, like a very highly rated running back. Just somebody you can give the ball and just cook with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, Raleek Brown is the obvious guy on this team. When he runs a Texas route, you can just call it a Texas route and take the vowels out because it's so quick. Like, that dude is going to be cutting people
off. First down. That's a free first down.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Raleek Brown's gonna be
aside from Raleek on this team, what are you guys most excited to play with?
I think even maybe the Clayton Smith. Clayton Smith is a good pick.
Defense. Yeah, absolutely. I'm using Clayton Smith or Zyrus Viaseu every single time. I'm
moving Alford to the sub linebacker role.
Yeah.
In a 4-3, and I'm just dropping him back into coverage every time and picking people off.
Yeah. Nobody's running a slant.
I'm thinking it might be the final player that I have ratings for.
Oh, God.
Might the low key the player that I if I find something that works, I might be spamming the Rhino package with big boy Marcuston Douglas. This guy with his rating strikes me as one of those players in a game where the actual gameplay itself doesn't reflect like what the rating is. So let's throw up what I have for Marcuston here. I have him at a 78 overall, but I think like obviously his
73 hands. Totri, I'm no longer the Marcuston hater.
No,
I know.
Listen, Eric. I think I was watching Marcuston tape before this, and I like those. There were certain catches at Florida State where he certainly has better hands than that. Again, we are predicting what EA would do, and I think EA will look at somebody like that in that size and put him in a box and say you are just a big blocking tight end, and not understand that he can do a lot. So I think 85 strength, 73 hands, 80 run blocking. I do think his hands should go up throughout the season if he is actually targeted and used. He was just a little bit underused over at Florida State. And I think that if you can get a couple plays that just work with him and just give him the ball and just plow through people, like I could just see myself having a lot of fun with a player like Marcuston Douglas.
Yeah, I mean, he's the size of a Ford Focus out there on the field. Like, it's going to be one of those where you line up as Arizona State in this game, and you're like, what the hell? We have an extra offensive lineman out there lined up in the slot? Like, nope, that's actually just the baby Rhino himself, Marcuston Douglas. He's
ASU might get called for some ineligible men downfield penalties, then get them taken back because they think he's a tight end that didn't register as eligible, or an offensive lineman that didn't register as eligible every time he lines up.
I could see it happening. Sharon in the chat, will Conyers be on ASU or Texas Tech? Conyers will be on Tech. The same with Jordan
Conyers.
Clark will be
Conyers will be a player coach. He will be calling plays on the sidelines with me.
With you?
Yep.
Okay. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. So just to recap the ratings, let's go ahead, Danielle. We could throw those up one by one more time just to recap the overall ratings. So we've got Raleek Brown at an 81 overall. Again, somebody that I think everybody is excited to use at Arizona State. Moving along with the next player, we've got quarterback Sam Leavitt at a 77 overall. We'll see if he is the highest rated quarterback at Arizona State to start the season, but that is a big question mark. Moving on to our third player, we got Troy O'Meara, wide receiver at Arizona State at an 81 overall, somebody that I think we all agree could have the biggest jump in terms of ratings, just based off of what he did last season. Our fourth player that we have is none other than the Rhino himself, Marcuston Douglas at tight end. Got a 78 overall. Definitely going to be one of the more fun players to even just see in this video game. Our fifth player that we rated was wide receiver Jake Smith. We have him at a 73 overall. We think EA Sports is going to sleep on Jake Smith, but when the season starts, I'm not sure anybody is going to have a bigger jump from week 1 to week 2 than wide receiver Jake Smith. Moving along to player 6, we had Jordyn Tyson, wide receiver at Arizona State, at an 80 overall. One of the best players, point blank period, on this team. Certainly a player that could threaten to be a top level talent in the Big 12 as a league. Our 7th player that we have, none other than running back Cam Skattebo at an 83 overall. Probably the Sun Devil favorite to load in with when this game comes out in just a couple of weeks. Cam Skattebo, an absolute monster for the Sun Devils last season, likely to be a monster in 2024 as well. The 8th player that we rated was center Leaf Fautanu at an 84 overall. Consensus between the three of us, we think he will be the highest rated player on Arizona State's offense. Have him at an 84, but could certainly see it being high like 87, 88 maybe when that game does come out. And the last player that we did have rated was Xavier Guillory, wide receiver at Arizona State, at a 77 overall, 80 speed, 80 hands, 78 route running. Again, nobody is higher on this kid than me, and I think he could have a monster season for Arizona State under Kenny Dillingham and Marcus Arroyo. Boys, are we ready for this game to come out? Are we ready?
Oh, yeah.
I'm juiced.
I'm excited to just see you guys go at it because I'm going to get my ass kicked by both of you, but I'm excited to see you two go at it.
Yeah, I'm going to 7-7, Totri.
You're not going to do that.
I think I might. I'll let you score 7.
But you piss me off.
Oh, look at that. He's angry.
I am. I'm an angry elf today. I'm an angry elf. But maybe it's because it's hot or not. Maybe because it's hot or not day.
Why would you be angry?
I'm angry because Shane beat me in the snake draft, and I think the only reason he won was because it was his birthday.
Dude, stop it. Oh my God. Okay. No, I'm not even gonna get into this. I wiped the floor with you. It wasn't even close. I'm the fish man.
You did not wipe the floor.
Listen, if Shane didn't win this poll, like we would have had to have some serious conversations.
It wasn't
like, this was made for him.
Resident animal expert Danielle even said it wasn't close. I destroyed you.
Whatever, man. Chris in the chat saying
Shane's draft was elite.
Will in the chat, what coaching type do you think Kenny is?
Do we have like the list of the coaching types that they're using? Like,
let me look real quick. I believe it's like builder, like it's similar to Madden, I think, in just they're going to have 3 different types of coaches that you can become. But let's see. EA Sports, college football, 25, coach 3.
Glenn saying he voted for me. Thank you, Glenn. Said FAB day. LOL. Yeah, Glenn, a real one.
That's just wrong. Nobody, no sober person thinks that Erik won that draft. Even Erik said he lost that draft.
Yeah. Listen, I will put my hand up. I'll put my hand up. Second pick, I panicked. I just absolutely panicked. And there were so many.
All I'm gonna say is nobody has a bag deep enough to pull out an oarfish like I do, and that's fine. Like sometimes you're just not skilled, and that's fine.
Bag.
I forgot there's no coaches. There's not like real life coaches in this game.
Oh yeah, there's no actual coaches.
So Kenny's it's going to be Shane Dieffenbach is going to be the coach of your Arizona State Sun Devils when you get out there. That better have a mustache. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
is the coach better have a mustache.
Do you think they're going to like make models around like what the coaches look like, or they're just going to have like generic number 1, generic number 2?
You're
going to have like a bunch of.
I just don't think it's going to be their name.
They're not going to be built like Bill Belichick and all the Maddens, or it's just some.
Yeah, I think they will be.
You think they are all going to be that? That'll be depressing. That'll be depressing. They need to get the coaches in this game. But it is Friday, boys, so it is time for Hot or Not, whether we're in studio or at our lovely homes. Danielle, what do we have for topic numero uno this week?
So our first one comes to us from Leah M. from Toronto. Speakeasies. They hot or not?
Yeah, they're hot.
Hot.
Yeah,
Hot.
hot as hell.
Undeniably.
They're. I mean, look at my skin color. Of course, they're hot. Like they're like one of the widest things to do. They're so fun.
I think speakeasies are so damn fun. When I was in Quebec City, this was at the start of the year, I think. We ended up going to a speakeasy with some random Canadian, like French Canadian bartender. One of his like best friends, I guess, like bartended at this speakeasy. It was a sketch experience when you think about it, because like we just met this guy. But it overall was one of the best times that I've ever had on vacation. It was just such a weird.
You met a
like,
Canadian and then
weird
followed
moment.
him somewhere. That sounds
No,
so scary. What's the worst thing that could have happened?
You're really so brave.
Fuck you.
The thing I'll say about speakeasies, though, what's not hot about them is their prices. Oftentimes, that just because they're a speakeasy, that's $19 a drink. Yeah, but most of the time they're hot. I love secrets. I love secret doors. I love secret entryways. I love secret menus. Speakeasies got that.
I don't like secret menus. Secret menus suck. They're stupid. Just put it all on your menu. Like, we don't need to have secrets when it comes to that. No, we don't need to have secret when it comes to fucking food.
Yeah, you do. There's a reason.
No, we don't.
Because oftentimes the things on the secret menu are harder to make. So if everybody knew about them, it would take forever.
But they usually taste better than what's on the damn menu.
Then get.
That's why you have to figure it out.
Tell you.
No, just how are you? First off, how are you supposed to find out what's on a secret menu?
Figure it out.
Yeah.
If you're asking, if you're asking that, then you've already lost.
Okay. Well,
Shane, this generation just wants everything handed to them, man.
Yeah,
they just want a participation trophy. Why don't you work for your order, Totri?
Everywhere I go from now on, I'm going to just order seafood risotto, even if it's not in the menu, just to see if they have it. Just to see. Why not?
That's just stupid.
How is that stupid? How is that any different than anything what you just said?
I will tell you. I will tell you. There's a big difference, because the secret menu is something that you know is there, because you've been informed that there's a secret menu and this is the item on it.
How?
There are many ways
Who informs you?
Dude, there are multiple secret menus that I know about. Like word gets around, dude. Word gets around. It's not like a big deal, man. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal.
Next
hour not topic. Secret menus.
Totri, I'm 100% with you. I hate secret menus.
Thank you. They're stupid.
No fun.
Next topic. Horseback riding. Hot or not?
I'm not informed enough to give an opinion. I've done it once or twice. I'm going to say hot. I like horses are cool. Big fan of horses. I'm just too large, so I don't really have an input on this.
See, I'm the opposite, and I'm small. So I don't feel comfortable riding a large animal like that. However,
but that's the best time.
Horseback riding.
You're like the perfect polo size.
No, I'm not. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, jockeys are all short and.
I don't feel comfortable about it. I don't feel comfortable.
Totri has the ideal jockey build.
Yeah, in my previous life, I'm a jockey. Okay, that's exactly what it is. We have Drennan Fight Jr. in the chat. When our defensive ratings coming out, we will do our Arizona State defensive ratings probably at some point late next week, or the week of the actual drop of the game. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Definitely CJ Fight is going to be included in that list, along with Xavier Alford, Clayton Smith, some of the other Arizona State Sun Devils on that defensive side of the ball. But getting back to horseback riding, I think horseback riding, in theory, hot as hell. Super hot. I think it's one of the best modes of transportation, to be completely honest with you. At least one of the most fun modes of transportation. However, I've never ridden a horse. So
how do you know it's the most fun then?
It looks like it's the most fun. It looks way more fun than driving a car. Does it not?
No, it does. It is fun.
It's one of those things that, like, I feel like if you know how to do it really well, then it's a lot of fun. But if you're just like learning and you're completely out of control, it's probably a very scary experience. But if you're like a master of horseback riding, like, that's got to be such a cool feeling.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. What are you giggling at, Shane?
Nothing. Next.
Dang, am I the only one who's been horseback riding like regularly?
No,
Really?
Regularly.
Regularly.
Yeah,
You go regularly?
My grandpa had horses growing up, so anytime we'd go visit, he'd take us out on a hiking trail on the horses.
Was this at least one of the horses named after a sweet treat, like buttercup or butterscotch or
Cinnamon.
peanut butter? Yeah.
No,
Cinnamon.
Usually not.
No.
My grandpa
Usually, I feel like there is.
My grandpa wasn't a very flashy person.
So
anyways, next topic.
Horse 2,
Glow in
horse
the
3.
dark mini golf. Hot
Glow
or
in
not?
the dark mini golf?
Mini golf. Hot or not?
Oftentimes they sacrifice the glow in the dark for the actual fun like holes. Like it's just like all of the mini golf courses glow in the dark. You get no windmills, you get no effects, you get nothing. It's just a mini golf course that's glow in the dark. So I've never experienced a fun one, so I'm gonna go not.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I love mini golf.
Hot.
Also love regular golf. So just doing it in the, like mini golf in the dark just is just like I'd rather do like the other forms. I'd rather go to where I can see first off, and they've got cool holes, or I'd rather just honestly just go golfing.
Yeah, the only time I've gone glow in the dark mini golfing, I actually had a good time, and they did have like the windmills and stuff like that. Like they didn't skimp out on it. But I can't like speak to. I'm sure there's a lot of places like Glenn in the chat says it could be fun, but the problem is they ripped you off just because it's glow in the dark. I could definitely see that happening. So I'll go not hot just because I think I would also rather just do regular mini golfing, especially if you're more guaranteed to have like a good challenging course.
That's fair. Guys, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Danielle, we're not ending the show till you tell me at least what one of the horses' names was.
My favorite horse was Amigo. Amigo was a good horse.
That's a good enough answer for me.
Blaze was a good horse, man. And then he had a mule named Dolly. Big fan.
Wow. Me and that mule would have gotten along great. Just absolutely fantastic. Guys, if you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX _Sun Devils. You follow me.
No,
Anthony,
we're not ending the show until you explain what the hell you just said.
What the hell do you mean by that?
The horse's name was Blaze, no?
Oh, you said mule.
Yeah, you said mule. I think the mule was Dolly.
Yeah, Dolly was the mule.
Well, me and Blaze would have had a good time.
Okay.
Come on, guys. Come on. Be better. Okay. Eric, you finish the show. You finish it.
What, you can't
No.
handle it?
No.
No, I don't want to.
We're gonna sit here in silence.
You're throwing a temper tantrum now? You're throwing a temper tantrum, Totri?
Give the show a follow at PHNX _Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You can follow the man with a plant at Erik Ruby. That is Eric with a K. You can follow the man with a halo at Shane Dief.
We're going to Big 12 Media Day on Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, keep it locked in at PHNX _Sun Devils. We're going to be out there at Big 12 Media Day in Vegas. The high on Monday is 119 degrees. It's supposed to be the hottest day in Las Vegas history. So pray for us. Yeah, it's going to be a really good time.
That's awesome. Also, new episode of Behind Enemy Lines comes out Saturday. Episode with me and Mike Luke, again, talking Arizona State and Arizona football ahead of Big 12 Media Day. So definitely be locked in for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Again, hit that like button. Go Devils. And peace.
We all silly like the mayor.